Sweet love from the heart of Miraculii. Welcome to this sacred moment. The subject today is all-dimensional communication. All-dimensional communication. And before we get fully into the subject, I have a favor to ask of you. There's a couple of imposter accounts out there trying to scam people out of money, imposturing themselves as being me. At the end of the video, I will list what there's 3 different accounts. One of them is Astarius Miraculii, and they've been DMing people and trying to offer readings and so forth. And then there's Astarius Miraculii 089, and then there's one other. But I'm going to list them, and I would be so grateful if you would report them, as imposter accounts, pretending to be me. Gratitude for that. And, God bless them also. People who blatantly do anything to harm or attack another being are really reflecting tremendous self-disregard and self-hatred. So I send love and compassion to them. So let's get into the subject matter now. So all-dimensional communication. We live here within this third dimensional realm. We have 3-dimensional bodies. We are solid flesh. And it gives us the opportunity to experience the objectivity of physicality. And as a result of experiencing the objectivity of physicality, ultimately, we are quickened into a higher resonant connection with the elevated spiritual aspect of who we are, the non-physical aspect of who we are. So the contrast of physicality creates a skyrocketing in our elevation in the ways of spirit and in the interconnectedness to the all-dimensionality of who we are. So wanted to focus upon all-dimensional communication because we have so many versions of who we are that it's time to now make connection with. Even when we're caught in our deepest pain and woes in the 3-dimensional realm, we have simultaneously other versions of us that are supremely victorious, totally transcendent above and beyond any and every negative difficulty that we might face in this physical realm. It does require that we get in the habit of shifting the dial of our awareness to the broadcast of these elevated versions of who we are. You hear many people talking about, I want to be the best version of myself. And often people speak of becoming the best version of themselves as if it's a futuristic thing, that I'm going to, in the future, grow into this better version of who I am. And that can have its truth in the linear 3-dimensional sense. But when we elevate into the embrace of the all-dimensionality of who we are, everything that we could ever grow into in the physical, or that is, in everything that we could ever grow into in the future, is already a reality, even now. All realities exist simultaneously, with the distinction that all realities are not simultaneously activated. So we have the power to activate those elevated versions of who we are. You have the power to activate the elevated versions of yourself. There is a version of you that is supremely victorious. There is a version of you that is abundant and rich beyond measure. There's a version of you that is in the arms of the peace that passes all understanding. There is a version of you that is in supreme relationship fulfillment. All those versions of you, of ourselves, exist simultaneously. And so it is a matter of our coming into a willingness to be in communication with these elevated versions of who we are. We have versions of who we are that are our elders, because they've gone way beyond where we have gone in this three-dimensional experience. And so now I offer a prayer. Divine Creator, God, Goddess Absolute. We align in divine awareness with every elevated version of who we are. Every version of ourself that has transcended all of the three-dimensional difficulties that we face in this physical realm. We open to receive the wise counsel of the all-dimensional ascended version of who we are. That version of ourself that is ascended through the fifth dimension and beyond. And we open to receive the wise counsel of our all-dimensional ascended selves that now transmit to us the wisdom of our sacred overcoming, the joy of our now reality of sacred peace, the joy of our now reality of infinite love, the joy of our now reality of supreme fulfillment in relationships. I offer these tones as carrier waves of these elevated realities and these elevated versions of who we are. And know, beloveds, as you are witnessing this, that there is an elevated communion that we are having with the all-dimensionality of consciousness, even unto the infinite consciousness of God, Goddess Almighty. Bridge across the seas of time. Yield passage to the soul of thine. Let us taste the ecstasy we knew before human misery A mighty essence then are we. We wrote the pages of eternity, dancing on a sea of being, light and love, we're all decreeing. Calling to our fallen self, time to regain heaven's wealth. We cross the bridge of what's to be, where from our nightmares we are free. We hear the angels calling us, saying, wake up God, wake up Goddess, you're really free. And wipe the nightmare from your eye. Spread your wings and watch fear die. Spread your wings and watch death die. Bridge across the seas of time, shackles of our soul unbind. Awake now from illusions dread. We are safe at home in heaven's bed. We align in divine awareness with our 1st through 12th chakras, which are infinite, eternal, omnipresent, all-dimensional, omnipotent, omniscient. We lay our 1st through 12th chakras upon the altar of the Most High. We receive from the Most High unto our 1st through 12th chakras, our feet, and 12 strands of DNA. The blessing, the anointing, the baptism, and the quickening. Our 1st through 12th chakras, feet, and 12 strands of DNA are clear, activated, and eternally expanding in ascension through the 5th dimension and beyond. We, as our ascended 1st through 12th chakras, feet, and 12 strands of DNA, are present everywhere and absent nowhere. We are in the now ascension of every time, and the here ascension of every space. Hear the message of these tones, beloveds. These tones do not live within the 3rd dimension. They are passing through this dimension to be the sonic wake-up call for us, that we wake up and remember. These tones are 5th dimensional and beyond. They are tones of ascension. As these tones are offered, overlay your most sacred prayers and life intentions upon them. and allow them to be carrier waves and carrier wings that elevate your intention into full fruition. Let's take a moment and be aware of the unrest that exists within the world, our world, Mama Earth. The wars, tyranny, and the treachery. We recognize those three-dimensional realities. We live within this world, see those things, we hear of those things. And now by deliberate intention, let us turn the dial of our awareness to the broadcast of world liberation, of world benevolence. Our three-dimensional Earth is destined to become a fifth-dimensional planet and beyond. In the linear sense, it is something that is yet to be. In the divine sense, it's something that simultaneously exists. There is a simultaneous reality of this three-dimensional Earth with all of the wars and treachery and difficulty and pain and woes. And at the same time, there's a fifth-dimensional reality of this very same Earth that we are now calling into activation by casting our attention upon it, by turning the dial of our awareness to the broadcast of a new Earth, an Earth of brotherhood and sisterhood, where there is a prevailing honor from every being unto every other being. We see this, we affirm this, we allow this, and we keep our attention focused upon it. And by virtue of focusing our attention upon this elevated all-dimensional resonance of Earth, we create a quickening of our three-dimensional Earth to elevate into resonant connection with its greater dimensionality and divinity. We look upon all of our heroes and our sheroes, those who we witness as having went where we want to go, those that we greatly admire. We align with the full-on power of admiration. For when we are in genuine admiration, we are totally at one with those that we are admiring. Genuine admiration is admiration. We're witnessing the mirrored reflection of that which we aspire to and that which we have already reached by virtue of those that we see having went where we want to go. By virtue of the fact that we are one with them and we are a cellular counterpart inside of every successful being, inside of every loving being, every peaceful being, every wise being, every benevolent being. We call forth the activation of the cellular counterpart of our own self that exists within every exalted one, even unto the ascended masters and even unto the angels. We quicken the awakening of the cellular counterpart of our being that exists in the central core of these elevated beings. And we quicken the activation of the cellular counterpart of these elevated beings that exists within the inner sanctum of our own self. We awaken to the all-dimensionality of who we are. We recognize that we are the microcosm of the universe and the multiverse, that any and everything to be known about the universe and the multiverse can be found within the inner sanctum of any one of our beings. And so we delight in being this wonderful microcosmic container of the great macrocosmic all that is. We come home to ourselves. And I thank you, beloveds, for coming home to yourself. I thank you for remembering who you are. I thank you for forgiving yourself and forgiving all others. So grateful that we are in the recognition that to forgive is to give the greatest gift unto our own self. It is not accidental that the word give is so present in forgive. It is a great gift unto self. And by virtue of our forgiving, we stand in our power. When I am forgiving, I am in the realization that any and everything that happens in my life is my creation, my co-creation. That nothing randomly ever shows up in my life, even if I have unconsciously created it. And I am just as responsible for my unconscious creations as I am responsible for my conscious creations. So let us wield the power of forgiveness. And let us look upon ourselves when we are in our treachery, or in others or upon others when they are in their treachery, and realize that there is something beyond that treachery that exists within these elder versions of who we are. Let us delight in the awareness that the treachery never finds its way to the central core of our being. The central core of our being is that great place of presence. When we are so present in the now moment, that the now moment becomes the container of eternity, so present in the now moment that we don't think about the future, we don't think about the past, because every time and every space is contained in the now moment. And that central core of our being is that place that is uncontaminatable. Fear has never made its way to the center of your being. Worry has never made its way to the center of your being. Doubt, hatred, lack, limitation, those things have never made their way to the center of your being. The center of your being is that place of supreme presence. And all of the adversities of life and all of the shadows of life are always and forever the surface. Let us align in divine awareness at the center of our being. Let there be God, capstone of our soul, unfailing spirit, fulfill our goals. Let there be power in the word of our mouth. We conquer with faith, dissolve fear and doubt. We conquer with faith over fear and doubt. Let there be wisdom as the fuel of our knowledge. Let it be a fire within our heart. We are consistent in the game of life, that wisdom may finish what knowledge did start. Let there be love in the work of our hand. Our life is a blessing under God and man and woman. Let there be peace as the wings of our mind. Sun of serenity around us shine. Joy of truth bubbling in our souls. Dissolver of sadness, come make us whole. Let there be abundance raining down upon us, our life be enriched with prosperity. And there is the fulfillment of let there be, for life will always give us but as far as we can see. Let there be, let there be, let there be, let there be. And there is, and there was, and there ever shall be. Thank you for co-creating with me. If you tuned in later in this live, I did say earlier on, I'm going to say it again, there's 3 fake accounts impostoring themselves and pretending to be me and trying to scam people out of money. So I will put those 3 accounts in the text area, and please report them, and so they can be shut down. I don't want anybody to be taken by that maliciousness. Thank you so much for being with me, and thank you for taking to heart these things that have been shared. I am available for intuitive astrological readings, sound transmissions of healing with didgeridoo, vocal harmonics, and Reiki. I have a couple books and a great number of music albums. So I thank you for going to my website and partaking of some of the treasures that I have there. I wish you all the best in your life. I'm so grateful that you are in the divine remembering who and what you truly are. I'm so grateful that you have come home to yourself. Aho Ashe, Amen, Namaste. Hotep, in Lakesh, Alain, Shalom. Satnam, Hariom, Rastafari. Our sacred juices are cooked and infinitely expanding. Juicefari, Blissfari. We'll always have many miles on our smile. Wiggle in our giggle and tingling in our boots. Laughter ever after, but in our strut. Wings on our butt, always rising up at the top. We are at one with God and all. Transcendent, beyond the humanly small. So it is and so it shall eternally be.